Have you ever thought that the way you cook or eat your eggs could quietly lead to dangerous blood clots? For millions of older adults across the country, breakfast often starts with a couple of eggs on the skillet. It feels healthy, hearty, and wholesome. But what if I told you that the way you're preparing those eggs could actually be raising your risk for stroke, heart attack, and life-threatening clots without you even realizing it? This isn't about scaring you away from eggs altogether. Eggs can be part of a nourishing diet, but there are 5 specific mistakes seniors often make when cooking or eating eggs that may silently damage your arteries and increase clot formation. And unfortunately, many of these habits have become so routine, so normalized that you may not even think twice about them. This video is especially for those between the ages of 55 and 85. If you're watching this, it means you care about your health, your independence, and the ability to live vibrantly in the years to come. So stay with me, because in just a moment, I'm going to walk you through 5 specific ways you should not be eating eggs, and more importantly, what to do instead. By the end of this video, you'll not only know how to protect yourself from hidden clot risks, but you'll feel more confident about making smart food choices for your brain, your blood, and your longevity. Let's get into it. Number 1, over-fried eggs in vegetable oil. The first egg mistake many seniors make is frying their eggs in processed vegetable oils, like corn oil, soybean oil, or canola oil at high heat. It might sound innocent enough. After all, it's how most diners cook them. But here's the problem: these oils are high in omega-6 fatty acids, and when exposed to heat, they oxidize quickly. That means they break down into harmful compounds that can inflame your blood vessels, increase the stickiness of your platelets, and raise the likelihood of clot formation. This isn't just theory. Multiple studies have shown that consuming oxidized fats, particularly from reheated or overheated oils, is directly linked to increased blood viscosity and endothelial damage, the very kind that triggers clotting cascades in the body. And older adults are especially vulnerable. Our arteries become more delicate with age. Our blood flows slightly slower, and our body's ability to fight off inflammation begins to decline. That combination turns an over-fried egg from breakfast comfort to a potential vascular risk. Take George, 74, for instance. He used to fry his eggs in corn oil every morning, crisping the edges until they curled up golden brown. But after a minor stroke last year, his doctor suggested a simple change switch to poached or soft-boiled eggs and use olive oil or avocado oil sparingly if pan cooking. Within months, George's inflammation markers improved, his blood pressure dropped slightly, and more importantly, his confidence grew. He felt empowered, not punished, because the adjustment wasn't about giving up eggs. It was about learning how to cook smarter for the age he's in. So if you're used to tossing eggs into a hot pan with vegetable oil, it might be time to reconsider. Use gentler cooking methods like poaching, steaming, or soft scrambling at low temperatures. And if you must use oil, choose cold-pressed extra virgin olive oil or avocado oil, and don't let it smoke. That smoke means the oil has oxidized, and you're letting those harmful compounds into your bloodstream with every bite. Sometimes it's not what we eat that harms us, it's how we prepare it. And when it comes to your brain, heart, and circulation, this one small change in your morning routine could mean a world of difference. Number 2, undercooked eggs with runny whites. The second mistake many older adults make with eggs is eating them undercooked, especially when the whites are still runny and glassy. Now, I know some folks grew up dipping toast into a soft egg yolk, and there's no denying it's a classic breakfast favorite. But here's the truth that most seniors don't realize: when egg whites are undercooked, they may contain harmful bacteria like salmonella, and more importantly, certain proteins in the raw whites can actually interfere with the absorption of biotin, a B vitamin essential for brain and nerve health. Now, you might be thinking, I've been eating soft eggs all my life, and I've been just fine. That may be true up until a certain age. But as we get older, our digestive systems become less resilient. Our immune defenses naturally weaken, and what once passed through our system without issue can now trigger infections, inflammation, and nutrient imbalances. In particular, bacterial infections that a younger person might recover from in a day or two can, in an older adult, lead to serious complications, sometimes even hospitalization. And while this might sound extreme, for people in their 70s and 80s, a single episode of food poisoning can spiral into dehydration, confusion, or worse. Let me give you an example. Barbara, 76, had always preferred her eggs with a runny center and soft whites. But after experiencing 2 minor gastrointestinal infections over the span of a year, Her doctor reviewed her diet and pointed to the way she cooked her eggs. Barbara was skeptical after all. She'd been cooking them that way for decades. But once she switched to fully cooked whites while still leaving the yolk soft, her digestion improved and so did her energy levels. She didn't feel like she was sacrificing flavor, just updating her habits to match the needs of her body today. So if your eggs jiggle when you tilt the plate, or the whites look shiny and translucent, take that as your signal. Cook them a little longer until the whites are firm and opaque. It only takes a minute more, but it might protect your brain, your energy, and your well-being in the long run. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 2 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now, let's move forward. Number 3, frying eggs in reused oil. One of the most overlooked yet dangerous habits among older adults is frying eggs in reused cooking oil. It might seem like a harmless way to save a little money or avoid waste, but the reality is much more serious than most people think. Reheating and reusing cooking oil, especially oils used to fry eggs, causes that oil to break down into toxic compounds that can silently wreak havoc inside the body. And when these altered oils enter your bloodstream, they may increase inflammation, oxidative stress, and even contribute to the formation of blood clots. Now, for many seniors, this habit doesn't feel dangerous. It feels practical. You cook a couple of eggs in the morning, then pour the leftover oil into a jar by the stove to use again tomorrow. You tell yourself it's just oil and it's too wasteful to throw it out. But what your eyes can't see is how the structure of that oil changes each time it's heated. With every use, it produces more polar compounds, aldehydes, and other unstable molecules that have been linked to blood, clotting, hardening of the arteries, and even memory loss. You can't smell it. You can't taste it, but your blood vessels feel it. Why does this matter more for older adults? Because as we age, our endothelial function, the ability of our blood vessels to stay flexible and responsive, naturally declines. This means our bodies are less equipped to handle oxidative stress from our diet, and reusing oil essentially adds more fuel to the fire. It's like breathing in secondhand smoke every day and wondering why your lungs don't feel quite right anymore. There's also a psychological side to this. Reusing oil often comes from a well-intentioned place, not wanting to waste, trying to stretch groceries, remembering how our parents or grandparents cooked during tougher times. But frugality should never come at the cost of our health, especially not when the health risks are so preventable. Let me share a story. Frank, 80, was a widower living on his own in a small town in Ohio. He'd always prided himself on being self-sufficient and careful with money. For years, he reused his cooking oil several times before replacing it. But after a routine checkup revealed signs of mild arterial plaque and elevated clotting factors in his blood, his doctor asked about his diet in detail. When they pinpointed the reused oil, Frank was stunned. He thought he was just being smart with his groceries. He didn't realize he was unknowingly inviting inflammation into his bloodstream. Frank switched to using fresh oil each time, just a tablespoon or two, and within 6 months, his blood markers began to improve. So if you find yourself pouring used oil back into a container, pause and ask yourself, is this small act of saving really worth the risk to your heart and brain? These days, high-quality oils like avocado, olive, or grapeseed can be used in smaller amounts and tossed out without guilt. Think of it not as wasting, but as investing in your circulation, your clarity, your longevity. Your body doesn't ask for much, but it does ask for care, and the way we cook, even something as small as an egg, can quietly decide whether our blood flows freely or starts to slow down under the weight of toxins we never meant to invite. Number 4, eating eggs with processed meats like bacon or sausage. Many older adults start their day with what they have always considered a classic American breakfast: eggs with a side of bacon or sausage. It's familiar, it's comforting, and for many it brings back memories of Sunday mornings, family meals, or the simple pleasure of a warm plate to start the day. But here's what many people don't realize: pairing eggs with processed meats like bacon or sausage may be one of the most harmful combinations for your blood and brain health, especially if you're over 60. Let's break this down. Eggs by themselves, especially when boiled or lightly cooked, can be part of a healthy diet. They contain protein, healthy fats, and important nutrients like choline. But when you combine those eggs with processed meats, which are often packed with nitrites, sodium, and saturated fat, you create a situation where inflammation, clotting, and arterial damage can take root without warning. It's not about one egg or one strip of bacon. It's about what happens when this becomes your daily routine. Processed meats are classified by many health organizations as Group 1 carcinogens, meaning there is strong evidence they increase the risk of certain diseases, including cardiovascular disease. These meats often contain compounds that damage the inner lining of your blood vessels, making it easier for clots to form. And when combined with the cholesterol naturally found in eggs, this pairing can quietly raise your triglycerides and LDL cholesterol, the type that contributes to plaque buildup. There's a deeper issue here too, one that goes beyond food labels and cholesterol numbers. Many seniors grew up in an era where bacon and eggs were a symbol of strength, simplicity, or even status. So changing this habit can feel like giving up a piece of yourself or betraying your traditions. But what if that daily plate is slowly narrowing your arteries, making your blood thicker and setting the stage for a stroke or heart attack? That's not just breakfast. That's a silent threat hiding behind your morning comfort. Let me tell you about Barbara, 72, from Kansas. Every morning for the past 30 years, she started her day with 2 scrambled eggs and 3 strips of bacon. She was active, cheerful, and didn't smoke or drink. But during a routine visit, her doctor noticed signs of early-stage atherosclerosis. She was stunned. "But I eat the same way I always have," she said. That was exactly the issue. Her body, now in its 70s, was no longer responding to food the way it did in her 40s. With her doctor's help, she replaced the bacon with sautéed mushrooms and spinach and added some avocado on the side. Within 6 months, her lipid profile improved, and she felt lighter and more energetic in the mornings. So here's a suggestion: instead of clinging to the old meat and egg combo, consider reimagining your plate. Try eggs with steamed vegetables, a small side of berries, or even a slice of whole grain toast with olive oil. You don't have to give up your eggs, just give up the habits that hitch a dangerous ride with them. Sometimes it's not about cutting everything out. It's about combining wisely. And as we age, that wisdom becomes not just a choice, but a lifeline. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 4 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now, let's move forward. Number 5, reheating cooked eggs multiple times. It might seem like a small thing, reheating yesterday's scrambled eggs, or warming up a leftover egg sandwich for convenience. But what many seniors don't realize is that repeatedly reheating cooked eggs, especially those that have been stored improperly or combined with oils and other fats, can turn a once nutritious meal into a hidden danger for your blood vessels and brain. It's not about being overly cautious. It's about understanding how the body changes with age and how simple habits, like how we treat our food, can either support or sabotage our health. Eggs contain sulfur, and when repeatedly reheated, this sulfur can interact with iron and other minerals to form compounds that are harder to digest and more likely to promote inflammation. Additionally, repeated heating causes the protein structure in eggs to break down into forms the body sees as foreign, sometimes triggering an immune response. This low-grade internal inflammation can increase the risk of blood clots, especially for those already dealing with high blood pressure, diabetes, or taking blood-thinning medications. There's also a practical issue that many older adults overlook: refrigeration and storage. A cooked egg sitting in the fridge for 2 days might seem safe, but if it was left out too long before refrigeration, or if it's been reheated more than once, the chance of bacterial growth, like salmonella, increases dramatically. And a weakened immune system, which is more common after 65, may not respond to foodborne bacteria the way it once did. But even when bacteria isn't the problem, the structural damage to the egg itself can be. Think of it like this: reheating is not the same as fresh cooking. Each cycle of heat breaks down nutrients, especially the delicate fats in the yolk. These oxidized fats can increase your LDL cholesterol, thicken your blood, and contribute to hardening of the arteries. It's a quiet shift, one that builds up over months or years without you noticing, until suddenly, your doctor says your cholesterol spiked or your arteries are narrowing. Let me share the story of Walter, 78, from Oregon. A widower and a retired teacher, Walter liked to prepare meals in bulk, storing cooked eggs in plastic containers for the week. He'd microwave them once, sometimes twice, especially when tired or busy with his gardening. Over time, he noticed more bloating, fatigue after meals, and unexpected blood pressure spikes. His doctor finally asked him about his eating habits, and when Walter mentioned the eggs, the red flags went up. With a few simple changes, making fresh eggs in smaller batches and reducing microwaving, his symptoms eased and he felt steadier and more clear-headed. This isn't to scare you away from leftovers. It's to remind you that as we age, freshness matters more. The body's ability to filter out toxins, regulate inflammation, and process altered proteins declines with age. Giving it food in its best form, freshly cooked, lightly seasoned, and properly handled, is one of the most loving things you can do for yourself. So if you're storing cooked eggs, make sure they're cooled and refrigerated within 2 hours. Eat them within 24 hours if possible, and try to reheat only once. Better yet, prepare only what you need and enjoy your eggs fresh, even if it's a little more work. You're not just preserving flavor, you're protecting your health. And when your health is strong, your independence lasts longer. Final thoughts. Y mira buenas. If you've made it this far, I want you to pause and truly acknowledge something. You care deeply about your health, and that alone puts you miles ahead of most people. You're not here just to listen to warnings or scary statistics. You're here to protect yourself, to stay informed, and to take back control of the little habits that add up to a longer, better life. That mindset, my friend, is what separates those who merely age from those who age with strength, clarity, and dignity. We've talked today about 5 simple, but often overlooked ways that eggs, a food most of us grew up trusting, can become risky if not handled wisely. None of this is about cutting out eggs forever. It's about awareness. It's about how just a small shift in how you prepare, combine, and store them can mean the difference between smooth circulation and a dangerous clot, between a sharp mind and sudden confusion, between a vibrant life and a slow decline. And here's the most important part. Every time you make a better choice, no matter how small, you send a message to your body and your brain, I'm still in this fight. I still matter. My health, my future, my life, they're worth protecting. I know change isn't easy, especially when these habits have been part of your routine for decades. But you're not alone. Thousands of others just like you are waking up to the idea that aging doesn't have to mean decline. It can mean wisdom, resilience, and even a second win if you treat your body with the same respect and care that you've given to others all your life. So as you go about your day, I encourage you to take a fresh look at your kitchen, your fridge, and the way you prepare even the simplest meals. Ask yourself, is this helping me live stronger, longer, and clearer? If the answer is no, you now know what to change. And if the answer is yes, then give yourself credit for doing something right. You've earned the right to feel good, to feel sharp, and to stay independent. Don't let careless cooking or uninformed choices steal that from you. Thank you for joining us today. We'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment below and share one thing you learned today and how you plan to use it in your life. Your thoughts are important to us, so don't hesitate to share them. Reading your comments gives us great motivation and encouragement. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please like, subscribe, and share. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Thanks for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.